Yeah. Hi, welcome viewers. Today, we have a special guest, Ashish Ranka. Ashish Ranka is head of product and director at the Virgio. Ashish earlier worked with the brands like, Flipkart, CoinSwitch, and even other brands like, Protonn and Rivigo. So Ashish complete experience is into the lies into the UX side of the thing. So today, let's go and explore that side of the understanding and see, okay, what and all we can learn from Ashish experience. Right? Welcome, Ashish.
Great. Thanks a lot for having me here, Ashwin.
Yeah, I mean, just I want to start with one interesting question, right? Like, if you see from the D2C sector, okay, which is kind of flourishing a lot these days, right? How crucial, okay, is the UX shaping the successful D2C brand? And what are some of the common mistakes, okay, these brands make in this area?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that question. I think what you've hit is sort of very important in the space of D2C. Now, a large chunk of what we sell D2C happens on our own websites, on our own apps, etc. And the one thing that will get people to either convert or not convert is the trust that customers have on that brand, right? User experience goes a very long way in building that trust. Let's say if your website looks shady, if it's an HTML-ish website, etc., you may not want to, put your credit card information over there in the first place, right? Whereas if it's a very rich-looking website and if it seems comes across as trustworthy, right? If it loads fast enough, etc., then it makes the user also psychologically think that this is probably a safe space and it's a good place for me to put my card information, etc. So UX plays a very large role in converting users in case of D2C.
That's really nice, right? So in that same context, Ashish, I have another question. Like, see, if you see how what kind of suggestion you want to give to these D2C brands, okay, who can strike a right balance between the beautiful design at one hand and converting, design at another hand, right? So where do you think, okay, this should go and lies in between?
Yeah, actually, I'm at a very unique position to be able to comment on that. See, it's in the public news. Virgio, when we started in 2022, we were a young brand, fresh, a
Hmm.
lot of fresh designs and this happening, that happening. You click something, some stars are flowing, etc. Right? So it was very loud as an experience, and largely, I think that's where the call was towards more of a design side of things, right? When I joined Virgio, we were sort of building on top of that, and we realized that the experience isn't really comforting with users, right? And that's something that I think a lot of D2C brands are missing out on. Uh, I was recently actually talking to a product designer who worked at a brand that I don't want to name, but it's a fintech company, right? And it deals with money. The company's UX was not the most, comforting, for the lack of a better word. So what happens is a lot of companies try and optimize for design, and end
Correct.
up, not looking at user experience altogether. So a little bit of backstory: when we moved from Virgio's first original stint and now into the
Uh-huh.
sustainable fashion behemoth that it has become. Um, there was a lot of focus on trying to move towards a more stable user experience for customers, right? Like if you click a button, you know what's going to happen, and that sort of stability and familiarity brought a lot higher conversions than our previous sort of experience that we had. So yeah, I feel like brands need a balance of both. It can't necessarily be just a performant website that looks like looks horrible. At the same time, there can't be like a beautifully designed page that just simply doesn't work. So finding that balance is something that's very tricky and tough, and that's where I think a lot of product managers, at least, are breaking their heads today in the D2C space.
Yeah, really, that really makes sense, right? If you in that angle only, if you see, I want to understand, okay, what kind of the role the personalization plays in UX, right? So how does it impact the customer relation or customer retention, even actually impacting the lifetime value and all those things, right? So when you design or when you try to build such sort of the things, right? So where do you fill up these, okay, make these, fill up the blanks kind of the thing, or okay, make your UX natively personalized, or say, I also, we also say this thing, right? Okay, a best personalized website is the one that where the visitor is not aware that that is personalized. It's so, implicit, or it's an immersive kind of the experience what they are getting, right? What's your thought about as a, UX expertise over here?
Yeah, I feel like there is the obvious answer is that personalization is very, very important, right? Especially when it comes to people who are coming back onto the website over and over and over again. One of the challenges that we face as D2C brands in this space is people are not very willing to log in the first click, right? The first time when they will come onto the website, they'll just, go through a few things, see how the brand is, etc., drop off, come back, and then do more, and then drop off, right? So typically it takes about 3 to 4 visits for a user to actually enter the phone number and log in onto the website. And that's where I think a lot of brands have started to think about personalization from that fourth or fifth visit, right? One of the
Got
things
it.
that we've tried at Virgio is we use cookies to be able
Mm,
to uniquely identify these users.
mm,
And we have third party cookie plugins which help us understand a lot more about these customers in the first few
mm.
visits itself, right? And that's where we sort of latch on to what the user is trying to do. Let me give you a very small example.
Sure, sure.
Um, let's say you come onto the website and there's this very famous dress going around that celebrities
Mm,
wore, and you want to get your hands at that. Usually
mm,
these
mm.
dresses sell out very quickly, right? So you came
Okay.
onto the website and you selected size L, let's say, right? We call size L as lively at Virgio. So when you selected size L and we showed you that hey, it's out of stock, now, when
Mm,
you come back the second time, I need
mm.
to be able to be smart enough to realize that this user has come back, selected
Correct.
size L in the past. So now I give them filters
Uh-huh.
pre-selected that hey, looks like you're looking for size L, and these are some of the myriad of options available in size L, right? So personalization is not just about calling out your name. A lot of brands just start with that, right? Like they'll just once you log in, they'll be like, "Hey, Ashwin, here's the latest products for you, etc." It goes
Correct.
deeper in trying to understand the user, and
Mm.
that's where I think is a make or break with respect to personalization at D2C brands. In fact, you guys are doing some fantastic work in that space,
Yeah, yeah,
and
we,
I'd love to chat more about that as well.
yeah, yeah, definitely right. So basically, our all DNA is into, conversion optimization thing, right? It's like the moment a visitor lands onto the website, right? It's all about how you make that visitor, get hooked onto your system, in sense like, get him engaged onto your thing, how you create the trust factor building, right? So, or how you create that FOMO thing, so that, okay, he will start, getting actually to the, from the, your PDP to cart thing, and then, okay, checkout thing quick, right? And
Yeah,
also like how you're going to hold them back, okay, bouncing off from your website, right? So a lot of these things, right? Basically these are all the points what we cover with respect to custom fit, where actually we give the advantage to the marketers without any tech help, like as how you are able to, make, because they are the one who are driving the traffic onto the website, and they know when that segment of audience comes onto the website what to showcase, okay, how it should be, or in your case also, right? Like, what works, what not, all those things, right? That's the thing, what CustomFit provides to the marketers, as it's a completely seamless experience, right? We are, in the same, the other face of the coin of the CX sort of the
yeah.
thing.
In fact, I also want to commend the idea itself, right? Tech companies, especially D2C brands who have very limited budgets. And it's a well known fact that if you're a large D2C brand and not a tech company like Virgio is, you cannot have more than 20% of your expenditure of salaries towards tech, right? What
Correct,
ends up
correct.
happening, honestly, in these companies is there is always a long backlog of this is something I need, this is something that I want to do, etc. Right? So offering marketers, especially a way to be able to do this no code. And in fact, I would say custom fit is not just for marketers; it's also for product managers who have a very lean team
Correct.
available with them, right? And that's just something that's a eureka moment, honestly, right? Like if Virgio did not have a tech team, I don't see why we would not be using custom fit
Correct,
for
correct. Yeah,
sure,
yeah. But,
right? And
right, right. Okay, we from the product, management side also, a lot of companies use our platform, so that, okay, they can test out their things, okay, very quickly, even writing a single line of the code over there, right? If that thing works, then actually they can, get their entire thing to, go to the deeper extent, right? So that's the one of the biggest advantage, even some of these very big brands in the fashion tech, they use custom fit because, as I mentioned, right, you just test it out first, right? So in that same line, I want come up with another question, right? Say you have bunch of the different designs, or say in your mind, okay, as a UX guy, though you are pretty sure, you still want to explore new set of the uh, new sort of the designs, or okay, or it's not there, or it's not okay, anybody used it out, but you have that gut feel that okay, this will definitely hook on because Ron, okay, you are experience and all, right? So when you want to A/B test that sort of the thing, right? So like how it goes, like what's the thing which you like basically create bunch of the variations and A/B test at one shot, or you take only single point. Like for example, I want to test only this section, okay, say product highlighting section, okay, that I want to see, or say I want to add the reviews and ratings in the listing page itself, and then see okay how that conversion goes, right? So what's your take? How do you suggest to the UX people in the D2C side? Okay, when is the right time to A/B test? It's very early in the ideation phase itself. Okay, where you won't use any of these drag and drop thing and test it out how it goes, or okay, you come up with something and then okay, you come up with the different themes and do the thing.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant question, Ashwin. To start things off, I think AB is one of the most powerful tools available to product managers to go with data to decision makers, right? Oftentimes, my team of product managers, they will, quickly go launch something, get the data for it, and then come back and sort of present it, right? But the biggest bane to A/B testing is statistical significance, right? Unless and
Correct.
until there's a major improvement that you're seeing, the data points would just not be statistically significant enough. And
Correct.
oftentimes, 9 times out of 10, you'll end up being in a situation where both the experiences are somewhat almost performing the same, because it's not like you're redesigning the entire experience in e-commerce on an A/B test for sure. So A/B testing is a very, very powerful tool if used right. The one metric that will help you determine whether you're doing the right thing, actually two metrics. One is the sample size itself. How large is your sample size, right? How long can you get more visits onto that same particular experience? And second is how awesome is that experience compared to the previous one, right? Like how much more conversion is it driving, for example? I'll give you an example again from Virgio's context. We've tried, I think, 15, 20 ABs in the last 2, 3 months alone, right? And most of them ended up having this problem where the improvement is so small that it's not statistically significant enough. But then we launched one feature, which was price transparency. And Ashwin, this is exactly what you were saying, right? Has never been done before in the e-commerce industry ever. But we just had this in our gut that, hey, brands actually should go for transparency, and Virgio stands for transparency. One of the things that's always hidden is the price itself. So why don't we tell users how much we are making this dress for, and how much is
Okay.
our profit margin in this itself, right? This was one of the most breathtaking UX ideas that we had. This on A/B test performed significantly better, right? Because the conversion goodness was so high from this
Uh,
experience compared to the other. So yeah, going back to your original question, I think A/B test is a great platform and a great tool to use. The only challenges are sample size and how big of an improvement can you drive.
well, that's a very good example what you put it. I mean, basically from your experience, right? So when you're very open with respect to how, like what's the pricing and all those things, how much it costed you, what's the thing in between, like, people are making, and how many what you are getting at, right? So then it's kind of really eye opening, right? Makes
Yep.
sense, man. This, and all I say, everything is experimental thing, right? Like for example, I will tell you the brands. For example, there is this brand. Okay, simple experiment what they did. Okay, next to checkout button, there's underline the button. They added this one line telling that we are as safe as Flipkart and Amazon. Okay, and that's it, that's one variation, and that they were showcasing to the first time visitors. The first time visitors coming onto their website, okay, when they're about to check out thing, the bold line they were getting that okay, we are secured, Amazon sort of the platform, right? And they're on the AVTS sort of the thing, right? And also there was one company, I tell you, maybe Bella Vita, right? So the test what they conducted was they kind of hidden the entire reviews and rating section. I mean, even when they showed us the preview thing, right? Even I got surprised at how dare you guys to go and hide the reviews and rating section, because that's a very prime section, right? Um, right? The intention, what they want to, like, basically the, what they want to understand there was, say a visitor, when he or she lands onto the site, okay, 100% they will go to the reviews and ratings, because, right, because before that, okay, they don't make a decision, at least they're first time visitors, right? Now say that a visitor would have, read one or two reviews before giving it up, right? Now if you somehow make that visitor read at least couple of more reviews, right, then how is that impacting the conversion, right? To test that thing, what they have done is, like, they kind of entirely blurred out the entire reviews and rating section. On top of that thing, they have given this very emotional message telling that, okay, we can say, this is, I guess this is how it goes, like, we can say 100 things about our products, you no need to believe what all the things we are saying on this page. Just check this happy 300 plus customers what they are saying about us. And below that thing, they added one line: all we request you to read at least 10 reviews, and the reveal button, right? So the person would have read this thing, when he or she explicitly clicks on the reveal button. So if not 10 reviews, at least he will read three more reviews, right? That how is that impacting the conversion, right? So I've seen a lot of cases, okay, in my experience, okay, seeing, and every day there is a kind of surprise. Like for example, like one of the company, very simple thing. What they did was, next to add to cart button, inside the add to cart button, right? The text, instead of the text add to cart, they added 25% saving on the button itself, right?
Interesting.
And to my surprise, they got some 38% jump in the conversion, improvement in the
Wow.
conversion, right? So that's what that's something which I got to know, okay, a couple of days back, thing. So we do so many things, okay, as a CRO and all, okay, they do so many things, even actually go to moon to get that conversion done. Simple change, okay, in the thing, right? So it's all about experimental thing. You may have certain hypotheses in mind. If I change this thing, how is that impacting the conversion and all, right? So that goes deeper there. But one question, Ashish, here. So very important thing is the, like, cart abandonment thing, right? So now say, I added item into the cart, okay, I reached the cart, right? As a UX guy, right, what's your, how are you going to avoid the abandonment? Like, how are you going to make them, what are kind of the principles you followed, okay, when you trying to design the cart page, so that, okay, the transaction should flow, right? Any input, like,
Yeah,
words from.
very interesting question, Ashwin. Uh, Today, cart abandonment related experiments that we do, by the way, contribute more than 40% of revenue to Virgio. Cart abandonment is the biggest problem when it comes to D2C brands, especially because in this new age of consumerism, the kind of digital media that's available out there, people are just consuming so much content and their attention spans have gone for a toss, right? You see a reel, you click on it, maybe you'll spend 15, 20 seconds, and then most of the people just drop off. Um, what's missing over there is a way to bring them back onto the platform, right? So we did this experiment back in September last year, where what we did is instead of letting people drop off, letting people add to bag and then ask for their phone number, when you click on add to bag itself, I ask for your phone number. All right. We
God.
also used plugins available in the industry, like GoQuick is a great one out there. Quick Pass is the tool that they
Correct,
use,
correct, correct.
which
Yeah.
auto recognizes 60-70% of the website
Visitors.
visitors on my
Yeah.
platform. So what ends up happening is I now have their phone number at least, right? Now, if you drop off, I can reach out to you in
Correct.
on
Can reach out.
Instagram. I can reach out to you on WhatsApp, etc. So that is a powerful way in which we bring back visitors onto Virgio. Um, but you actually, your question was slightly different. I think it was more about how do you block card abandonment to happen in the first place. That's an
Correct.
area where honestly we've not done a lot. I think there's a lot of scope available. We've seen some great examples. Like I was seeing one video from CustomFit itself, where as the user is starting to drop off, a pop-up comes and tries
Correct.
to um, show more to the user or get
Yeah,
them to at
exactly.
least spend a few
Yeah.
extra seconds. Right? That's actually a
Correct.
very very good idea, and that's an area where Virgio hasn't invested a lot of time yet.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, there's a lot of scope over there. Even I've seen the brands, right? Uh, like I have seen the brands, for example, okay, they started using the cart right in your homepage and collections page. Okay, you no need to, and directly the cart value, everything will be printed right as a footer sort of the thing, where okay, your cart value is right in front of you on that any every page, whatever wherever you go, sort of the thing, right? And also they are adding all these sort of the bundles, like hey, if you add 100 rupees more, okay, then actually you will get 25 extra discount the moment okay you cross that 500 rupees marks, that like if I add 200 rupees more, then actually you get 30% discount will be revealed, sort of the thing, right? So that's sort of the the carrots what you showcase, right? And along with that thing, entire the cart is there, okay, so that okay, it's see these sort of the things I have seen okay earlier inside the cart page, right? Moment I get into the cart page, then only these sort of the things was there. The problem there is like the moment, say I'm going to the cart page to directly go and do a checkout, right there, if you're trying to divert me showcasing here, if you go and add something more, right, then actually I'll be I'll just entirely miss that thing, journey itself. I will be just okay roaming around here, then completely I may get lost because I may not
Yeah.
find that 100 rupees fulfillment item. Then I'll say chalo okay, let's check out tomorrow, and then okay, that thing goes off, right? So the brands like Innovist and all, what I've seen that is okay, they kind of added the entire the what is it, the ACV incrementing widget, sort of the thing, which tracks based on the number of items in your cart or cart value, right? So that okay, they added one of the widget of the customer there. They started seeing some very good improvements because that idea came from the Mamath side, right? So Mamath had a, like basically the team which we are using, they added with some of the great UX thing in the mind, right? So yeah, that started some of the good experience there.
Yeah, in fact, a good balance of cart nudges is very, very important. If, let's say, you start to nudge a lot more in cart, you will think that, oh, conversion will happen. But like you exactly said, right? Many times people are looking for that extra 100 rupee thing and then they will drop off the entire cart itself.
Correct.
So that's a fine balance that needs to be struck when it comes to user experience there.
True, true. And one more thing, Ashish, like if you see in D2C side, right, at least 80 to 90% of the traffic is coming from mobile, right?
Yeah.
Like basically mobile devices, right, when compared to the website, right? I mean, basically desktop website, right? So how balance, okay, what kind of investment you need to do with respect to both the sites, or you need to go mobile only, or okay, you need to, even look out about the desktop thing, right? So, or what kind of the special case we need to do when you design a mobile specific pages, landing pages, and all.
Ashwin, I think you've done a lot of research into my background because this question just hits home for me. I'll tell you the story behind it as well, right? This is back in 2015 when Flipkart had decided to shut down their desktop website, shut down their mobile website, and make it app only. Right? It was a huge thing in the Indian e-commerce space because
Never
people
heard.
were like, "Are you foolish? Like, why would you do this? 70% of people are coming on their devices, desktop devices, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense on this decision, etc." But uh, that's also the time when Amazon had launched in India, if you recall, right? And uh, by this one move of Flipkart, actually, they backfired in desktop users significantly because Amazon started capturing that base. But fast forward to today, it just feels like a genius move, right? Because um, the traffic today is 95% mobile and 5% maybe
Correct,
desktop.
correct, correct.
Um, so there are a lot of things that you that just click naturally when it comes to mobile, right? Let me start off with three things first, right?
Mm,
Number
mm.
one, mobile is where people are spending more time, right? Mobile devices
Correct.
have become so much more powerful
Yes.
today that people are spending a lot more time over there. Second, that's where the traffic is coming from because a lot of, especially the D2C side of things and e-commerce side of things, you're driving traffic from Instagram, from Google, etc., onto your website, right? So that's
Correct,
where people
correct.
are coming from. And third is it's a device that just goes everywhere with you. So you get a lot more information. You continuously keep, reaching out to the users, and uh, that's probably the area where mobile versus desktop starts to show a lot more goodness. Now, coming back to your original question, what do you need to think of while building a mobile experience versus a web experience? Number one is
Correct.
performance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Mobiles are on the move. Network is patchy at best, right?
Correct.
Uh, so you never know when the user is going to conk out of your network and not be able to um, load rich experiences, etc. Right now, this you will hear is the number one problem that custom D2C brands face when they use platforms like Shopify, right? Shopify is a great way to get started, by the way. Don't get me wrong there. If you do not have a tech team, that's the way to get started in
Right.
terms of
Yeah.
building out an e-commerce brand. But after a certain point of time, the performance of Shopify website starts to slow down significantly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we There is a lot of unnecessary bloatware. There's a lot of things that are there on the website which are meant for different purposes but aren't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily there for your website alone, right? And that's where I think performance is something that starts to play a major role when it comes to building a mobile experience. Number two is, if you have the bandwidth and the technical capability to do it, also have an app is just so much more powerful because it gives you native capabilities to be able to do a lot more with the experience. At the same time, it's always there on the user's device, right? So it's easier to reach out to them. What with this meta throttling, etc., going on promotions, messages, etc., it becomes very difficult to bring your users onto the platform. And having an app just gives you that edge to be able to do that. There are a lot of products out there today, even if you don't have a tech team, to be able to build apps very quickly using AI. And then something like CustomFit can come in there, right? Because you can build a lot more on top of that same shell using single lines of code, using
Mm-hmm.
just prompts and then pushing that onto the experience with custom fit, right? So uh, that's the number two suggestion I would give. Apps are very powerful. A lot of people just take it for granted, but you need to sort of look at app experiences as well. Your last bit of your question, Ashwin, was is desktop becoming irrelevant in the world of mobile?
Correct. Correct.
And that's where I think I got triggered to my Flipkart memory, because my first ever project in product management life, my first ever project in professional life was to rebuild the desktop website of Flipkart.com. So when I joined Flipkart, there was no, the Flipkart.com website was just a page that would say download the app, right?
Got it.
And we had to rebuild the entire experience on desktop because Flipkart also realized around 2016 that, hey, it's a mistake, right? People
Mm-hmm.
who prefer large surfaces to be able to shop, etc., will always want to do that. Um, it also depends a lot on the category that people are shopping, right? What we saw is large appliances, for example, is a lot more thought through decision where desktop
Correct.
experiences just play a much larger role. So if you're selling anything premium, if you're selling anything that needs the users to go through a rich experience, please do not abandon your desktop website. I know it will look as a very small number in terms of traffic, but these are the touch points that are going to be common for the same user, because the same user is going to go to your mobile website, same user is going to come to your desktop website. If you disappoint them on desktop, you're done. The user is not going to come back again. And this is another thing that we learned, by the way, with Virgio 1.0, is what we
Mm-hmm.
call it. The first version of Virgio that we built, it wasn't built for desktop, right? It was only built for mobile. So that was an area where we used to lose out on a lot of customers as well.
Got it, got it. And also, yeah, what I have seen, Ashish, like with respect to these, people who do the A/B testing, right? So, I mean, even actually, say 95% of our customers, right, they focus only on the mobile level, thing, like because, number of the like basically the traffic is less on the desktop and all those things, right? Entire focus, okay, they try to do, or okay, they try to mix up, okay, and say, irrespective of the device, right? That's where we advise them treat every visitor as different. I mean, your desktop visitor behavior versus your mobile visitor behavior, it's a completely different thing, right? So you can't mix and match the results what you get from the mobile onto the desktop or desktop onto the mobile thing, right? So that's one of the advice always we give, that you always have that sign of sanity in place, so that okay, you get the results or you are able to analyze the results well, right? So in that line, how do you think the behavioral things are impacting, like for example, like, based on the visitors behavior on the website, right? How the UX should adopt, like these days, okay, there is entire new set of the things are coming, right? For example, intent based UX thing, or say behavioral based in that thing, right? So based on what kind of intent I started showing, whether I'm showing a buying intent versus okay, it's like window shopping intent, or whether like I'm caring for no discounting thing, or I'm caring for like I'm heavy discounting oriented person, right? So if you see, and also it's also based on, okay, how the marketers are driving the traffic onto the website, right? So what segment of audience they are targeting? They are targeting these Gen Z, cool going sort of the thing, or okay, a mid segment of audience, okay, who know every rupee which they save, okay, that makes sense, right? So when you take all these different segments and their behaviors onto the website, right? So what's your take on this thing, like how a website or a app should start behaving?
Interesting question. So there are two kinds of audiences marketing that people are doing, right? One is where it is very, very targeted, where you are saying that, hey, I want more people who show this sort of an interest or are from this age group, etc., etc. And the other, where a lot of dollars are also going in the last in the last 1.5 year, I think this segment is the fastest growing segment for Meta, is
Mm.
what they call Advantage Plus, right? Where you let machines do all of the thinking for you. You just tell them what are the goals that you want to achieve with this particular, sort of approach, and then you get them onto that, right? Where a lot of brands miss out is exactly what you were talking about, which is to ensure that you have those sort of experiences for each of those users. Uh, just to give a very, very small example, we do top of the funnel ads, we do middle of the funnel ads, and then we do bottom of the funnel ads. For our viewers who are not very familiar with these terms, top of the funnel is anything that drives awareness about the brand. It may lead to a visit on the website or it may not lead to a visit on the website, but your goal is set to be awareness, right?
Mhm.
Middle of the funnel is to bring them onto the platform and do certain actions. In our case, we have some middle of the funnel campaigns leading to a product page view. We have some that are leading to an add to bag onto the product, right? And then finally, you have these bottom of funnel conversion campaigns, which are directly trying to get more and more people to buy products um, from your website, right? What you'll start to see is as the digital marketing space is getting more and more competitive, a large chunk of CPMs start ballooning up for your bottom of funnel campaigns, right? Because here you've not thought about the intent, you've not thought
Mm.
about exactly where the user is coming from. You've left all of that onto a machine learning algorithm and hoping and praying that someday it will come. The funny thing, Ashwin, is that a lot of brands will see amazing early success by doing this, right? First couple of months, they will see like a hockey stick curve. Things are going amazing. They are
Correct,
getting
yeah.
crazy amount of revenue every day, but this will not sustain. And the reason why this will not sustain is because not all users all the time are in a shopping mood, right? In
Correct.
2 to 3 months, and this is actually great for all of our viewers today, in 2 to 3 months, you'll start seeing CPMs go up. By
Mm-hmm.
fifth or sixth month, you'll start seeing CPCs take a hit because even your CTRs will start to reduce. There's fatigue that will start kicking into the ads, right? And all of this will result in a net less performance ad campaign than what it would have been if you actually structured it with middle of the funnel, top of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, right? So while approach B will give you quick, dirty growth, right? It will not give you sustained growth, and
Correct.
it will balloon up costs like anything. Whereas your primary approach of having all three types of ad campaigns will actually give you consistent approach, right? Because top of funnel CPMs are the least. There's the
Mm.
least amount of uh, bidding going on over there, right? So it's easier to get mindshare in terms of impressions for those users. Bottom of funnel is the next in when it comes to CPC, right? Because people are clicking onto them and landing onto your website, but then they might drop off, and that's okay, right? As far as you got the user to register the brand a little bit. So building experiences with each is something that's very, very critical. And that's, I think, somewhere where a lot of young D2C companies, at least, are going wrong today. And I hope will learn very quickly and get to this sort of a structure.
That's a really good, advice, right? So, in that line only, right? Like for example, if you see India, right, it's a very divergent thing, right? Every, like say 100 kilometers, it's a different culture. Okay, it's a different, okay, buying habits. Okay, even if you take metro versus, okay, tier two cities versus tier three cities, right? And also if you see this thing, right, even a small store, say that there is a perfume store in tier 2 city versus tier 1 city, how they sell, the salesperson even say that I'm the salesperson over there. So the way I'm going to talk, way I'm going to uh, get them hooked up and all. It's everything is a different thing, right? So what you do, right? So but if you see uh, websites or apps sort of the thing, right? Today they're exhibiting the same pitch all across, right? So
Yeah.
for example, even if you take one thing, if you say for example based on the geographies, how the app should or your website should adapt, or how they should behave as if, okay, there is a marketing guy or there is a salesperson sitting right behind your laptop screen or mobile screen, and it understands, okay, who you are, right? So like, what do you think the futuristic UX gonna look like, okay, next coming days, like the kind of the trend, the AI trend, what that started, right? So from your opinion, where do you see this is going?
So what you're describing is what we product managers like to call experience localization, right?
Mhm.
And in fact, nowadays the term has become hyper localization, right? Now, Virgio is an international brand, and we have presence in India, we have presence in UAE, we have presence in Gulf countries, etc. Right? Um, Personalization is something that came home to us a lot quicker than most brands, because when
Mhm.
we launched in the UAE, for example, right, uh, we copy pasted our website as is. Okay,
Mhm.
we just made a replica of our current website,
Mhm.
new domain, and just launched it, right? And we fell flat on our face. Uh,
Okay.
our ROAS tanked to zero point 0.2, right? Which means you are spending 5 rupees to acquire 1 rupee of revenue from customers.
Correct.
It was a horrible phase for us, right? When we stepped back and sort of started to look at it holistically, when we started to actually spend time and trying to understand, right, there were a lot of small nitty gritty cultural norms that we
Mhm.
absolutely did not think about when we were launching this website, right? Just to give you a very small example, while most women are very fashion forward and love to wear trendy clothes, one of the things that they care about a lot is the length of a dress.
Okay.
Okay, in UAE, there is a law that states that in most public places, you should not be wearing dresses that are above your knee, right? There are no other restrictions. You can wear whatever you want, just don't
Got
wear anything above your knee, right? And that's
it.
something
Got
that we didn't realize in our early days, right? So our entire merchandising, everything needed to be redone. We took a fresh approach to this, and we did small, cute little things, right? Like for example, as soon as you land on the website, we greet you with marhaba, right? Which
it. Okay.
is the Arabic way to say welcome onto the
Correct.
website, right? We made a Virgio Arabic logo, right? So this sort
Mhm.
of a minor elements of localization shot our conversion through the roof. It grew from zero point 0.2 to like a 4 ROAS, right?
Oh,
20x growth is what we were able to get just by understanding what users in that region were looking for, right? This actually goes back to your first ever question that you asked: how important is UX when it comes to D2C brands? It's this important, right? If
exactly.
you fail at looking at your UX, you will not be able to achieve this sort of a growth.
Correct. Correct. That's really nice, Ashish. I mean, I guess the entire discussion came with actual, realistic, examples and all, right? So there's a lot to learn, okay, from this thing from our crowd. One last question, okay. Typically, we use, we ask to every guest who come on our show, right? So say that there is one metric, okay, which you want to go on a lonely date on a lonely island. Which one, as a UX, you prefer to go with?
If there was one metric I would like to go on a date with, that
Yeah.
was the question.
Yes.
Interesting question. I'll have to actually think about it for a minute. Uh, okay. Okay. So here's my answer, right? Um, Typically, you go out on a date to be able to understand the person a lot better, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That's the this thing behind that.
Yeah, so one of the things that I would love to understand a lot more in context of marketing, in terms of product, in context of everything that we are doing at Growth is ROAS, right? ROAS is revenue over ad spends. It's such a cute little small metric that just shines and says that, I'm very simple. I'm just revenue divided by the amount of ad spend. But it's not at all simple, right? Anyone who's
Exactly.
tried growth marketing, anyone who's been in this space knows that
Yes.
It's one of the toughest things to be able to understand, right? There will be one tool which will say this campaign is performing at a ROAS of 4.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be one that will say this campaign is performing at a ROAS of 1, right? Uh,
Correct.
it varies wildly because of this magic thing, which is attribution.
Yes.
Attribution is one of the most misunderstood phenomenons in the world of
Complex.
growth marketing. Yeah, it seems fairly complex at start, right? But as you start to go deeper and deeper into it and try and cut out the noise, that's where I think a lot of focus time is required with ROAS, and that's why I think I'll have to take her to a lonely island, sit with her, and try and talk to her about what's going on, buddy. Like, where's your attribution coming from, right? And away from all the noise. So, jokes apart, I think a serious deep dive into how your OS is being calculated is going to
Mm-hmm.
make or break your brand, especially when it comes to D2C, because capital is not that tough to get out there if you have strong fundamentals, if you have a strong CM2, etc. And that's where I think a lot of growth marketers and product managers need to focus down in order to be able to make or break their brand.
Great, man. This is one of the very good answer in the episode, and basically this entire series. Yeah, thanks, Ashish. Thanks for your time. I hope some of these inputs what our audience can take and go and implement, and increase all sort of the metrics along with this. Right. So yeah,
Thanks. Thanks a lot, Ashwin, for having me. I think you guys are doing fantastic work, both with CustomFit.ai as well as this series of GrowthFit. There's so many learnings for people getting into growth, or even people who spent 4 or 5 years in growth, to just
mhm.
sit and listen from people who've been there, done that, or learned from mistakes already. So we are in the information age, and I think you guys are furthering that cause quite a bit. So thank you so much for having me here.
Thanks, Ash.